All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Alec from Valist, and we make secure code signing and global software distribution easy. And our mission is to give developers superpowers for fighting hackers. Now, each and every year, millions of devices are coming online, and they're all being secured by a fundamentally flawed architecture. See, we're all relying on these central points of failure. These are third parties known as certificate authorities. We eliminate them from the picture entirely, and in fact, we make the concept of a certificate authority a thing of the past. Now, we're a technical team with experience in software engineering, consulting, cybersecurity, and blockchain technology. My co-founder, Zach, and I have been working together for over 7 years, and we've even helped write coding boot camps on these topics that have been deployed to universities around the world. We also regularly give talks at conferences like IEEE, IoT North America, and many others on these topics. So we're very familiar with getting out there and evangelizing technology that we believe in. We also have a lot of hacker friends, and they love to break things. But we're builders at heart. We get our kicks out of building software that's hard for them to break. Now, you might not have realized this, but 3 companies in the world, IdenTrust, DigiCert, and Sectigo, have a 90% market share on root certificates. And you've likely never heard of them before. Maybe you've heard of DigiCert, but regardless, we're all putting our implied trust in them to secure our internet infrastructure. And when this goes wrong, a code signing certificate and key misuse event costs an organization about $15 million. And it happens almost twice a year across 55% of organizations. So this is costing our economy at least $16 billion every year. And that's just what we're aware of. And unfortunately, it does get worse. As you might have heard recently, the SolarWinds attack compromised almost the entire US Fortune 500, all of the US telecom providers, all branches of the military. Effectively, our entire US infrastructure was compromised in a single event. Now, the way this happened was attackers got a hold of centralized access control system known as SAML, made themselves administrators, and then took the organization's code signing certificate to pass off malware as genuine software. So there's 3 key things going wrong here: antiquated public key infrastructure, centralized access control, and a fragile software supply chain. These are all things that we're tackling with Valist. Now, a traditional public key infrastructure looks something like this. It's called a chain of trust, not a blockchain of trust, but a regular chain of third parties. And if you attack any of these links in the chain, the entire system is at risk. In fact, you don't even need to target those 3 companies with 90% market share. You can attack any certificate authority, and if you just get one, the whole system is at risk. So it's only ever as strong as the weakest link. We're eliminating these single points of failure entirely, and instead we're adding multiple points of accountability. So you might have seen diagrams like this before, but on the left is a traditional public key infrastructure. You attack that node there in the center, you're attacking the entire system. We're turning it into the diagram on the right. There's actually no concept of a certificate authority anymore, and there's no centralized access control servers to attack. What we're doing is taking the same security model that powers Ethereum and our multi-billion-dollar crypto industry and applying it to software distribution. We also have a multi-factor system for everything. So if you imagine a nuclear warhead that requires multiple keys to be turned at the same time before launch, we're applying that analogy to software releases as well. So now multiple developers and build servers have to sign off on a release before it's published. So instead of being able to slip code through a back door without anyone realizing it, you have to get through your entire team and according to your security policy. So we're drastically reducing the chances of another SolarWinds from happening. And if an event does occur, there's an audit trail that tells you what happened and when, so you can have fast incident response rather than the scrambling that we're doing with SolarWinds. Now, our system is also very easy to use. It's just 3 steps to publish some software. You just create an organization, then you create a project under that organization. You pick your package type. We currently support arbitrary binaries, NPM packages, pip, and Docker. And then you publish your release. All of this is verified on a global secure network, and all of this happens without third-party trust. And we also emulate common APIs like NPM, so you can stick this right in your existing infrastructure without any additional changes. Now, one of the first things that we did was validate our security model against some of the most hardcore hackers in the world. These are folks that both run and frequent conferences like DEF CON, B-Sides, and many others. So we know we're pushing the bar forward from a security perspective. And our beta registrations in our Discord with some highly talented folks there are growing at an average 40% week over week. And we've taken all of our feedback from the community and made ourselves progressively decentralized. So we have nice Web 2 onboarding, but with Web 3 infrastructure. So things like passwordless email login, layer 2 infrastructure, and gasless transactions, we all have working today. And you don't even need to know how blockchain works to use our system. Now, we also have a simple software as a service business model with a free tier, a pro tier, and an enterprise tier for on-premise deployments and support. Now, the competitive landscape looks something like this. The players on the left require effectively complete trust for them to work. Some of them don't have the same features, and some of them aren't exactly very easy to use. And if you go with the custom implementation, you're going to be burning countless developer hours building almost the same thing. And at the end of the day, you're still likely going to need to rely on these third-party certificate authorities or wrangle with PGP and custom build server and access control logic. Our system is both easy to use and requires no trust for it to work. You don't even have to trust us. Now, just last year alone, $115 billion was spent on IoT devices. These are things like your smart watch, your smart door locks, and your router. Each one of these devices adds additional attack surface. Now, the security as a service market is a $16.9 billion market, and capturing 1% of that will yield a $169 million market. Now, what we're doing today is building bottoms-up community growth in the open source community by integrating with existing developer tools and providing valuable content for how developers can mitigate these types of risks. Then, we'll be gaining Web3 adoption by distributing common Web3 tools with Valist, things like Ethereum, IPFS, and Filecoin nodes, and especially things like hardware wallet firmware. This will both increase the security landscape of Web3, as well as give us the social proof we need to move back into Web 2. Now, right now, most Web3 tools are still being distributed over Web 2, so we need to fix that. Then we'll be leveraging our networks to target the energy, automotive, and embedded system space. As I mentioned before, we're integrating with existing systems today. So we're meeting developers where they're at now, but we have ladders for trustless implementations as organizations move into Web3. Later this year, we'll be launching from our private alpha to our public beta. And then at the end of the year, we're going to be enabling our pro and enterprise tiers to capture some of the value that we create. Thank you so much. You can sign up for the beta at valist.io, email us at contact@valist.io, find us on Twitter, valist_io, or just come hop in our Discord and chat with us at valist.io/discord. I can't wait to see you there.